James Gunn's Superman. Does it soar or bore? I just made that up. I don't want to get too far into spoilers here, but I will say that I saw it was a pretty crowded movie theater. I mean, for like a Thursday afternoon, it was a very quiet theater. Not a lot of reactions, not a lot of pops. Nathan Fillion got a few pops every now and then with his guy Gardner because, he's in there to do those quips, like the quick one-offs. And so that was kind of fun, but it's nothing new under the sun. It does feel like James Gunn is probably the wrong guy to make a Superman movie. And also, like, the way he directs action sequences, just really flat and boring. Like, the most dynamic one is probably Mr. Terrific. He has a scene where he uses his T-balls, or T-spheres, rather, to, T-balls, Jesus, man. T-spheres to do a combat thing, but it feels very, like, reminiscent of, like, Guardians of the Galaxy with Yondu, with the arrow. So it's not even, like, visually arresting. How's the cast? Cast is fine for what they're given. I'm not really sold on them, which is kind of disappointing because I really wanted to like Corn Sweat and Brosnahan a lot more than I did. There's just not a lot of stuff to it, and I don't think it helps that, like, our first introduction to them, they're kind of at odds with each other. She's like, oh, well, the thing is, you acted unilaterally and you went into an active war zone and you didn't have permission from our government, so who watches the Watchmen? Like, who could stop Superman? Should Superman be acting unilaterally? And it's a fair question. It's a fine question, and she's well within her rights as a journalist to ask. Superman has a hard time with that. He doesn't really care for it because he's so concerned that people could have died that he doesn't really care as much as to how he stopped the war, including, like, he talked about how he grabbed the president of that country, flew him into the desert, and stuck him against a cactus, which doesn't seem very Superman-y. Surely just being there is enough a deterrent. We don't got to add, like, as Lois says, like, torture. So this is how we're starting the movie, right? It should also be noted that Superman's been active in Metropolis for about 3 years. So when at the beginning of the movie, and this is all beginning of the movie, so if it's a little spoilery, I apologize. But this is your basic setup. Lex infiltrates the Fortress of Solitude, and he finds Jor-El's message to him, and when they decode it using Nanobot Girl, it turns out that he was sent there to conquer. And I was just like, oh boy. So then they start turning public opinion. They try to turn public opinion against Superman, but like I said, he's been there for like 3 years. Certainly people are going to be like, no, he's done too much good. They even say, he's done a lot of good. And Lex just is like, he's just been trying to trick us. He's got a secret harem. He was sent here to breed, which is that's Omni-Man, right? Somebody who just read Invincible or watched Invincible and is like, let's put that in my movie. But we've already seen it, and we've seen it done better. And there were more emotional stakes when it was Omni-Man, right? No one's going to believe this about Superman. Well, not enough people. Certainly not enough people that Lex gets this. All right, so yeah, spoilers, so do I recommend the movie? Not really. I didn't have a good time with it. My niece and nephew were fiercely bored. The theater was bored. The thing's a mess. So I'm just going to talk about a few things here that I really did not care for. So Lex gets the authority from the U.S. government. They put a warrant out for him, and he gets permission to arrest Superman and put him in a pocket dimension prison, which is just ridiculous. I mean, absolutely ridiculous. My brother was so disappointed because when they were talking about other dimensions, he thought there'd be like, maybe there's going to be like Dark Side or something like that. No, it's just a pocket dimension where Lex puts people he doesn't care for. He gets paid to put political prisoners there. He has an ex-girlfriend there. He's got an army of monkeys who are active on Twitter. It's literal monkeys, not even like a Gorilla Grodd thing, just monkeys with wires in their brain typing things on keyboards. It's not great. So, like, the whole thing is based then around him stirring up enough ill will towards Superman that the U.S. government's not just going to give him permission to imprison Superman, but give him permission to kill Superman. And the reason he wants to kill Superman is because he's like, you're showing us how weak and insignificant we are, which is a very Lex Luthor thing to do. I've always enjoyed that kind of aspect where he's like, we can't trust him, right? We can't trust him. I would have expected maybe like a reference to Cadmus or something maybe in this. I just want them to adapt Justice League Unlimited is really what I'm getting at. We have all these great cartoons. It's a perfect world building setup. All you got to do is follow these simple steps and follow like what Justice League Unlimited did. I don't think it's good. Superman and James Gunn are just not a good fit. They're not a good fit. He doesn't know how to write like that kind of reverence. Everything's quirky. Even when he's talking with Lois at this one point, like they're having a very serious conversation, and in the background, you just see like lasers from like the Justice Gang fighting this thing, and she's like, should you be helping him? He's like, nah, they got it, right? It's so weird. It just doesn't feel like Superman. There's a part where he gets severely jacked up trying to escape from the pocket dimension because they have like Metamorpho who creates kryptonite, which also all right, get this, right? I'm not sure if I already said spoilers. I cracked open a Miller High Life, so forgive me if I'm repeating myself, but Metamorpho at one point, he has got his son being held hostage in the pocket dimension as well. And he's like, I got to do this or they're going to hurt my son. Well, they watch him build like a small sun in the palm of his hand immediately after he said, oh, I can't build a sun. He builds a sun in the palm of his hand. And then he's like, go save my son. And I'm like, if I hear the word son one more time, I swear to God, I'm going through that screen. He does it. And Superman flies across and saves the baby. So it's so weird. And then he's like, here, you can have your child back. And he's like, no, I don't have hands when I change form. You have two hands in that scene. He's holding hands in that scene. And then later on, when he explodes his body into acid and keeps his head up or alive, he makes tentacles. So you could have made tentacles. You could have taken your kid with you. But no, instead we get Superman going through like a proton river. It's like, it's so stupid. It's so stupid and annoying and just fills up like space and time and doesn't matter. It just doesn't matter. The movie is so bloated, and this is the trimmed down version. It's just very frustrating. And Crypto, way overused. I'm not a fan of Crypto. I think there were moments for it. They set up the thing with the T-spheres, and then they set up like, oh, there are cameras monitoring Superman so they can give programming to Ultraman. Okay, fine. But it's the same gag, you know? It's like, oh, you set it up a little bit earlier and then... But Superman's not the one who directed Crypto in the earlier one. It was just Crypto's bad behavior. Not great. And then, at the very end of the movie, you get your confrontation between Superman and Lex Luthor. And Superman is like, you don't get it, Luthor. What makes me great is my humanity. It is what gives me the advantage. It is all these things that I love that make me human, like my fear, my doubts. I put one foot in the front of the other and try my best. And then Luthor gets this line like, you don't get it. I did all this just to get permission to kill you, and I got it. So whether it's tomorrow or in a year, and he's about to say, no one's going to trust you and I'm always coming for you or something along those lines, Crypto just grabs him, starts smashing him into consoles. Like, Lex should be like pretty much dead at this point. And then Superman's like, oh, no, Crypto, no, that's too much. Stupid movie. Stupid movie. I did not have fun watching it. It was really boring. Nathan Fillion gets, like I said, a few good jokes in here and there, but my God, I don't even know what half that third act is really about. Like, there's that dimensional rift, there's the war going on. It's just too much. It's just too much. So I didn't care for it. Just not for me. Anyways, thanks to listening to me ramble, and I'm going to go have another Miller High Life. Till next time.